In the last section, we went ahead and added a check to make sure that we had a loaded video before we tried to show the video detail. And you can see as I'm refreshing here, you can see the loading text on the top left very briefly. We caught that case because we checked for the existence of a video property before rendering the component. If the video wasn't provided, then we just showed a quick Ajax spinner. Now this isn't really a check that we want to add to every single component, just when we really need it. I mean, imagine if someone was loading a page and they saw like 10 spinners pop up, right? This is something you want to do very rarely. In general, it's safest to locate an Ajax spinner on a fairly high level or parent level component. So we can show a single video, but we really want to give the user the ability to click on another video and see it pop up on the screen. So here's the plan. We'll add the concept of a selected video to the app component state. So I'm inside of app right here, and I want to add the concept of a selected video. The selected video will be a video object, and it will be always passed into video detail. So instead of passing in this.state.videos at 0, we can just pass in this.state.selectedVideo. To update the selected video, we'll pass a callback from app into video list, and then from video list into video list item. Whenever the video list item is clicked, it will run the callback with the video that belongs to it. So that's pretty confusing just to say, even think about. Let's go ahead and give this a shot and see how we do. The first thing that we'll do is add the concept of the selected video. So inside of index.js, inside of our app component, I'm going to add another initializer to our state. So since we're doing a multi-line here, we'll add another property, the comma, and we're going to call it a selected video. And it's going to start off as null because we don't have a selected video to start with. So the next thing we need to do is pass this selected video into the video detail. So here's our video detail, and we don't want to pass, the starting or the first video anymore. We want to pass a very specific one. We want to pass in the selected video. So instead we'll do this.selected video, this.state.selected video. My mistake. There we go. Okay, so let's save this and refresh our browser and see where we're at. So I'm going to refresh, and we're stuck on loading. All right, well, that kind of makes sense. We're not changing the state of selected video yet. It's always set to null. So in video detail, we always catch the loading case. It always says, oh, I wasn't given a video. Video is null. So I'm just going to show loading right now. So inside of our search callback in our constructor, instead of only setting the list of videos, we'll now also set an initial video. So we're going to break this back out into the long form syntax instead of doing the shortened form here. So we'll do videos as videos. Let's also do this on a new line, like so. We'll add a comma, and we'll say that when this very first initial search kicks off and it returns and comes back, we want the selected video to be videos at 0. So at the end of the day, yes, we're still going to play the first video in the search result. So let's go through the flow again. App boots up, videos is an empty array, and our selected video is null. We go into video detail. Video detail isn't provided a video, so it's going to show the loading spinner, or not a spinner, but the loading message. At the same time, we kick off a request to go grab a list of videos. When that request is completed, we'll pass the list of videos onto this.state.videos, and the first video in that list will be set to the selected video. Since we're setting state here, it causes our component to re-render, which means video detail is going to be rendered again with this.state.selectedVideo, which is now equal to the first video, which means it's going to actually end up with a valid real video. So let's go ahead and save this and give it a shot in the browser. So I'm back over here. Let's refresh it. And all right, we're back to getting our first video in here. Looks good. Okay, this is good. Let's move on to step 2. So step 2 is to implement our callback. So this callback is going to be a function that we're going to pass from app to video list and finally into video list item. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit confusing to run through the first time. Bear with me. We're going to go through the process, make sure that it's nice and clear. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pass another function to video list. And we're going to call it onVideoSelect. This function is going to take just a video, and it's going to set this .setState. Let's call this argument right here selected video, and then we can use the abbreviated syntax selected video, like so. All right. So we just defined a function, and all it does is it takes a video and it defines it on app's state. It updates app state with a new video. So if video list calls this function with a video, the selected video on app is going to update. So this is kind of like a real jump in logic here, right? We're kind of passing a function that manipulates another component. Kind of confusing. I totally agree with you. Let's keep passing this function all the way through. Let's watch it, in motion. Let's see it actually work, and then we can do an entire run through, and I think it'll start to make a little bit more sense. So remember, we're passing this as a property to video list. So that means that video list now has a property on props called props.onVideoSelect. So we're going to pass another property to video list item. And let's break this into a multi-line statement here. Like so. Okay. So now we're going to pass this the callback that's inside of props, we're going to pass into now video list item, each one of them. So it's going to be on video click equals props.onVideoClick. On video select, my mistake. So all we're doing is we're taking the prop that's coming from app and we're passing it down into video list item. So now video list item has access to a property called onVideoSelect. And this is another little trick from ES6. If we want to pull multiple properties off of the props object, we can just use the curly braces and separate it with a comma. This is totally identical to saying const video equals props.video and const onVideoSelect equals props.onVideoSelect. Okay, so now we've got our callback all the way down in here, all the way down inside of video list item. So we need to actually make use of this thing, make use of this callback. So whenever a user clicks on this entire element, this entire LI, we're going to treat that as a video selection. So we'll say whenever a user clicks on the LI, that means we need an event here, so we'll do onClick, and we'll pass it a function. So whenever a user clicks on the LI, we'll call onVideoSelect, and we'll pass it this particular video list item's video. Okay, so again, probably still kind of confusing. Let's save this, give it a shot. I'm going to try clicking on this one, and hot dog, it updated. So I got Joel Fitzgerald. Let's click on the Science of Surfboards, and we get the Science of Surfboards. So it looks like we're correctly getting all of our updates in here. Top 5 electric surfboards. This one actually looks cool. I might watch this one. Okay, so it looks like it's working, but how in the world is it working? Let's do another run through here. I'm back up in app, our top level component. We defined a function in here that has one purpose. It just updates app state. It takes a video and it updates the selected video. We pass this as a property into video list. Video list takes that property and it passes it into video list item. Video list item takes that property and says, whenever I get clicked, call that function with the video that I was passed. And since each video list item has a different video, well, you get the idea. It ends up with the correct video. Okay. Doing callbacks like this, passing callbacks down from some parent component to some more child component is kind of a rare thing to go more than 2 levels deep. It's not, let me take that back. It's not a rare thing. It's rare to have it go more than 2 levels deep. As you can see here, we went from app to video list item. Passing callbacks like this is a great way to do small communication between a parent component and a child component. Passing it all the way from index to video list item, we're kind of right there on the border of where it starts to get a little bit confusing to someone who comes into this project later on. They might see on video select here, and they're thinking to themselves like, wait a minute, what's this function do? What happens when it gets called? And they really have to do kind of a treasure hunt to figure out where that function's coming from, right? They have to first find video list item, and then they say, oh, okay, index is rendering video list item, and oh, okay, here's the function. So in general, any more than kind of these 2 jumps that we're doing right here is a little bit of a stretch. You might want to think about a different approach. But for this example, I really want to give you an example where we kind of push the limit, do a little bit of a stretch on passing down callbacks. So I think this was a pretty appropriate example here. Okay, so we can now select a video. Let's continue on in the next section.